Hi Maplers, I'm one of your community managers, Ezrabell, and here we are with a new video series called Henesys Hangout, and we're actually joined by a special guest, MapleStory's producer, SavageAce. You want to introduce yourself?
Hey, sure. Yeah, I mean, some of you guys may already know me, seen some of my Maple memos. I'm SavageAce. I am a senior producer on MapleStory here at Nexon America.
Woo! Awesome introduction. Thank you so much for joining me today. We have a list of questions that we want to ask you to help the community get to know you a little bit
Sure.
better, introduce who you are, get to meet everybody. So
Fine.
thank you for joining me.
No problem.
Well, let's get started with our questions then. We can roll right into it. So for your first question, how long have you been with Nexon?
Oh man, it's been a while. So I've been at Nexon 8 years now. Yeah. So six of those years, I was working on MapleStory. 2 of those years working on various mobile games like Kartrider Rush Plus, Darkness Rises, and Konosuba.
Awesome. Okay. Perfect. What's your current role at Nexon, and can you tell us a bit about what you actually do in that role?
Yeah. So, as I mentioned, I'm a producer here on the MapleStory products. So that includes MapleStory as well as MapleStory Mobile. What do I actually do? Oof. It's a great question. So as a publishing producer, our job is primarily to work together with the developers of the game. To bring content, events, sales, and we help them plan these things out, when they're going to come out, how they're going to come out, things like that. And we also work internally with a lot of the publishing teams here at Nexon America, like localization, marketing, community, PR, social, customer support, tons and tons and tons of other teams, too many to name. And we just make sure those teams have what they need to do their job. Personally, I'm in a lot of meetings discussing like the direction of certain things, as well as deep in Excel sheets, looking at schedules and budgets, things like that, and trying to make sense of numbers. So kind of boring, but it's what I do.
Awesome. Yeah, that was a great reply. Thank you. And speaking of bringing things, 64-bit.
Yeah.
Yay.
Excited for that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. So starting your first experience in MapleStory, I know can be very different for everyone, especially at the time that they start playing, because there might be different updates or different events going on, or game might be completely different for everyone depending when they start. What was it like for you? Like, what was your first experience starting MapleStory?
Yeah. So, I think I mentioned this in a Maple memo before, but I actually hadn't played MapleStory before joining the team here at Nexon and working on the game. So, I jumped into the game around 2014, I think right after Shade was released. And so I did a lot of research beforehand, seeing how players felt about the game, talking to my friends about the game to see what they thought about it. And just, so that first experience was trying to learn as much of the game as possible, and trying to learn the game specifically as quickly as possible. And so I was a big fan of MMOs at the time. And what I really noticed about MapleStory that struck me is this: I'd never played a 2D MMO like this, and so that art style and that perspective was a little unique and special, I thought. But that overall initial progression, I thought, was really, really, accessible. It was easy to pick up and play, and the leveling was really quick. And so I was getting skills, I was getting stat points. There was all these things I was getting pretty quickly to help me like become really, really powerful in the game. And so I liked that early progression. I thought that was really good. And I just tried to just absorb as much as I could, in that early experience. And so that was my experience.
Yeah. Definitely. There can be a lot of information to learn, especially right off the bat. Probably no matter what time you start playing the game, there's always a lot to learn and things to figure out. But that's always the exciting part as well.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So following that, what is your favorite class of MapleStory?
Oh,
I know a lot.
Right.
But if you could pick one, what is your favorite? And maybe like the lore could be a part of that, or the game, the class design, skill effects.
Yeah.
What grabbed you in?
I'd probably have to take the easy way out here and just say
Okay.
my favorite class is my main, which is Xenon.
Okay.
Yeah. So, when I first started playing and I picked that character, I just thought he looked really cool. I dug the boss art or the character art for him. His futuristic cyborg vibe was really cool. It's just a stark contrast, right, from like the sort of
Right.
fantasy look that all the other characters have. So gameplay wise, he feels really fun, really satisfying to play. Mobbing is really fun with him. It's got a lot of AoEs that are really good. So yeah, that would be my favorite.
Oh, awesome, awesome. If
Yeah.
anyone out in the community didn't know SavageAce's main
Mhm.
character, now you do. Xenon
Mhm.
main. So all you Xenon mains rejoice.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that either, actually.
Nice.
I for a split moment I thought you were gonna say Kana too. I had a quick view because you said easy way
Uh,
out. So I was
okay.
like,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
yeah.
I mean, she is the most played character, but yeah.
Yeah.
No.
And then I play Adele and everyone says easy way out too. So I'm the
Oh.
target here.
Okay. Okay.
But I do like my Adele.
Nice.
Now, who is your favorite boss in MapleStory?
Oh, okay. Hmm. I haven't really been keeping up with like the latest bosses. So gameplay wise, I'm not entirely sure I can speak to like the later ones released,
Okay.
but in terms of style, I really, really love the way the Rudibus bosses look.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Pierre, Von
Yeah, I
Bon,
have to
Crimson
agree.
Queen, Vellum. They're just so unique. They got this like horror vibe, some of them, especially Pierre. I mean, he's a clown, so that's already pretty scary. But
Yeah.
if you like look in the background of his like stage, oh my God, there's some like crazy, crazy details there that are just like ridiculous. Yeah. So
Yeah, I have to agree. I think the
yeah.
map design's really nice too, especially when
Mhm.
you're looking at the world map for Rudibus. It just
Mm.
looks really cool.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
different too.
Absolutely.
Now for storylines. What is your favorite
Ooh.
story quest in MapleStory and why?
Mm. Okay. Okay. Hmm. This might be a hot take, but I really love the friend story arc, and some of the characters and how they're portrayed in there. I mean, every anime has to have its filler arc, right? So
Right.
this kind of
That's
feels like
true.
it. And I love that. I love the filler arcs, and I really like just the unique take some of the characters have in Friend Story in that world. Things like Hilla being a school nurse, Damien and the Rudibus bosses being just like a rock band. It's fun, cozy story, and it's a nice change of pace from like the serious Maple world. So
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. And I know there's plenty of people out there that really enjoy Friend Story as well too, and they love the artwork pieces that come from it too. To kind of see
Yeah.
the characters, and that the way you explained it being like the filler arc, kind of like an anime episode. It is
Right.
pretty cute to see those characters in different ways.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Definitely. Now, as a senior producer, we know you are very busy doing a lot of things and planning for the future of the game. But
Mm.
what are some ways that you enjoy interacting with the community when you get the chance to do so?
Yeah. I love trying to learn about this game from the community, right? I mentioned earlier
Mhm.
that when I started working on MapleStory, I hadn't really played the game before, and so I tried to learn as much as possible, not just by playing the game, but reading the forums, looking at Reddit, and then eventually just watching content creators. That was the biggest thing that I wanted to do is just get to know who are these players, and that people that really love the game or not. People maybe hate the game. I don't know, but if they're creating content about the game, I want to watch it. I want to know what they're thinking. And so when we launched our Discord server, also in 2017, I did enjoy sort of reading a lot of the comments, interacting with people in real time, and I would pop in time to time and talk to people. But lately, haven't really had a chance to do that. Just don't have the time. But I think, what I really, really enjoy the most is just meeting these people, meeting the fans live during like events like PAX, Anime Expo, MapleStory Fest. Again, I just love talking to our fans and hearing about what they think about the game, what they like, what they dislike. Um, and just trying to get to know them a little bit better. I think that's what I really like to do.
definitely. Yeah, I must say, community is the heart of everything, and that the best way to learning about the game as well too.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of things, I still don't know about the game that I've learned from the community every day. And again, talking to them in person, I think, we read all the community reports and community feedback that you guys provide, the community managers, but there's just something about seeing somebody and hearing their perspective directly, I think, that really, helps me understand, their emotions and what they're really thinking about, that piece of comment or feedback about the game.
Right, definitely. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's always appreciated for them to want to share their voices with us.
Yeah, yeah. It's fun.
Yeah. And now for our next question. How did you arrive at SavageAce as your nickname? We all have IGNs or or gamer tags that we've used, but how did you create yours?
Right. I don't know if this is a boring story or not, but so I grew up in the era of like arcade games, right? And so my parents actually owned a convenience store. We had like Double Dragon and Street Fighter 2, and I just played those games all day long. That was so much fun. But at the time, like arcade games, you had to enter your initials at the end if you got like a high score or something. And no offense to my family, but I thought my initials were kind of lame, DMB, so it wasn't cool enough, I thought, to flex, right? So I wanted to create like something interesting whenever I would put my initials. So I came up with Ace, right? It's very short, it sounded cool, looked cool, and that's what I used for like the longest time. And then fast forward to like AOL, IM days, right? Like everybody had like an online persona, like XX Asian Boy 32 XX, So yeah, I didn't quite go that route. Yeah, I didn't quite go down that route, but I wanted something cooler sounding. So yeah, randomly just chose Savage, put that in front of Ace, and that's what I've been using ever since. Yeah.
Okay. So you said boring, but I think that's like an epic origin story. That sounds so cool. Like that you developed your nickname off of wanting to have something cool in an arcade.
Yeah.
Like that is cool. At least to me, maybe the younger kids might be like, "What's an arcade machine?" But
yeah. I don't know if the Zoomers will understand that, but okay.
Yeah. I get mistaken as a Zoomer a lot. I am not, guys. I grew up with arcade machines as well.
Okay.
But yeah, that sounds like a cool, hero or villain origin story either way. But coming up with your name, that's very cool.
Yep.
Now, do you have any personal stories dealing with MapleStory players online or at trade shows or events? Any experiences stand out? Meeting the fans or players of the game?
Yeah. I mentioned before that my favorite thing is just meeting MapleStory fans and players. Events, meetups, super fun, right? I love hearing their stories, listening to them talk about MapleStory with such passion. But I think the most memorable encounter I ever had was actually at the Nexon offices. I don't know if I should tell the story, but we'll see later if I make a video. So anyways, we had this really two big content creators come to our offices. I don't want to name names. I don't want to out them. But they were, visiting the office to discuss like partnerships with Nexon, right? But they were also big fans of MapleStory, and so they played it in the past. Probably not playing it now, but whatever. So the Nexon employee who was sort of showing them around introduced me to them as a MapleStory producer, and so one of them immediately turns to me and says, "Oh, hey, why did you guys do the Big Bang update?" And I was like, yeah, I don't know if you guys know, but that was like 7 or 8 years. This was like 7 or 8 years after that update had dropped.
Oh, wow.
And probably like what, 4 or 5 years before my time at Nexon. So, I knew about the update and I knew how people felt about it. People had strong opinions about it. But it wasn't, I wasn't a part of it. And so I tried to explain to them as best I can with like the limited knowledge I had of the history and what I could. But, on all, in all honesty, it wasn't like a mean-spirited question or anything rude like that. I just thought it was like funny and a question that caught me off guard. Yeah.
Very like upfront and random timing in a way.
Right.
Like probably the last thing you would have expected.
Exactly. I was like, oh, nice to meet you. It's like, nope, right into it. Why did you guys do Big Bang?
Yep.
Yeah.
That goes to show the player passion too.
Yeah, absolutely.
With a lot of things too.
Sure.
All right. So, out of the future updates mentioned in our recent roadmap in our Maple memo, which one are you most excited for personally? And I know there's a lot there and a lot of things to be excited for, but what has you the most personally intrigued?
Yeah, like you said, there's a lot. There's a lot there I'm excited for. Even stuff that you didn't reveal on the roadmap. But we will soon. But in that Maple Memo roadmap, I think I'm really, really looking forward to our upcoming 231 update in March, and Yeti and Pink Bean World content and events.
Yes,
I think
Pink Bean.
I was going to say everybody loves Pink Bean, but I really want to play as Yeti. This is the first time we get to play as that character.
Yeti fan.
Yeah, I mean Yeti is an iconic MapleStory character. He's cool, and so pun intended.
Right.
And we've been playing around with this content already in the test servers for weeks, so I'm just excited for people to jump in and play. So
right,
I'm excited for that.
I'm personally excited as well. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Pink Bean fan here.
Of course. I mean, I got my Pink Bean plush, so not hating on Pink Bean, but Yeti's got to get some love too, right? So
very true. We love them all.
Right.
So how did you end up in the game industry? Because I know you talked a little bit, about your role at Nexon and the things that you do as a senior producer, but how did you end up, in the game industry as a whole?
Yeah. So, I'm sure everybody here can relate. I grew up playing video games, right? So it was a big part of my life for a large part of my childhood. And so as I got older, I started to think about, what I want to do as a career, or where do I want to go? Initially, I thought I wanted to be a programmer, right? Because you think about video games and how they're made, that, somebody has to code them. Okay, I can be that guy. So I started learning computer science. But I also started learning at the same time, like, what are the different things, different departments and different areas of the game industry what other industry positions are there? And so, to support myself through college, I started just applying everywhere, right? Any entry level positions I could. And luckily I got hired as a QA tester, quality assurance. And I used that sort of as an entry point to try to learn as much as possible, talk to many people, talk to different departments, and try to really find my footing. From there, I moved on into production, and I knew that was the place I wanted to be, right? Production, I think, is the place I wanted to be, because you get to talk to so many different people. You get to shape a bunch of things. You're not actually creating, but you're helping shape and helping teams do the best work that they can. And so that's why, I stuck with that production path, and that's where I am now. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a super relatable answer as well too, not just for myself, but maybe people in the audience, because without really having an inside scope, one of the very common assumption is, you either program or you draw things.
Yeah, exactly.
You're an artist or you program, and that's very common. And, I was in a similar situation of thinking I just needed to be a programmer as well.
Yeah.
Thank goodness I'm not art, People might be in a little bit of trouble with that.
Yeah. Same with me. I knew I can draw, so I was like, never going to do art. Sorry.
Yes. The community knows me to be the least artistic, and then Ghibli to be the most artistic between the two of us.
Nice. Good synergy there. I like it.
Yes, definitely. Nice. Now, I know that you talked about your role at Nexon and some of the things you do within your position, but what's a typical day like for you, honing in a little bit more on that?
Right. Yeah, I mean, as producers, we don't really have typical days. Every day, we like to describe it like every day there's always something new. There's always something different, new tasks to focus on, maybe a proposal to write, data to analyze, schedules and budgets to review. But, from a high level, A typical day is you just read a lot of emails from many different teams. So we try to plan out, okay, what do we need to respond to? What does this person need? What does that person need? And then, in terms of the game and plans and all that stuff, we look at the schedules every day to ensure that, everything is going according to our plan. All of our sales, content, and events. We have a good sort of lineup, planned ahead in the next weeks, months. And yeah, I just have a lot of meetings as well. I look at a lot of data points about the game, things like concurrent player numbers, any given time, how many people are logging in every day, participation rate of events. I look at all these like dashboards and monitoring tools to make sure the health of the game is at a level that we want. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Emails, looking at screens, looking at Excel sheets, and just talking to a lot of people. That's my typical day.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And especially after just talking about, different roles within the game industry and stuff like that. And then your role specifically, one thing that I did notice that we kind of connect the dots on is a lot of communication. No matter what area you're in, there's a lot of communication going on.
Communication is huge, not just, with our players, but also just internally to ensure that, everybody understands, the direction that we all want to take the game, and we're all aligned in what we're prioritizing to do that. So yeah,
right, most definitely. Thank you for answering that.
Mm-hmm.
A gamer yourself, you grew up playing video games. It's, one big thing that led you to the game, as much as many of us are gamers too.
Right.
What are some of your favorite games of all time? Could be from any point, any genre. It could be multiple.
Right. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. This question. I mean, it's tough. This is like asking who's your favorite child. But yeah. I mean, I don't know if you could see this, but the Mario series has always had a special place in my heart. So that's Bonsai Bullet there, or Bonsai Bill. So that has always had a special place in my heart. I actually have another tattoo of Foxhound logo from the Metal Gear Solid series on my left arm. So that's also probably very high on my list. But when people ask me like favorite game, like pick one, I think the most important game for me would be like Metal Gear Solid 2. That was actually the first game I played where I saw the leap in like storytelling, design, or artwork. I mean, everything. There was like a leap in technology from one generation to the next, and that just blew me away. And that is what that specific game like actually encouraged me to be like, I want to be a part of this industry. I want to be making games like this and bringing these types of experiences to players. Never got a chance to work on the Metal Gear Solid series, but I'm still working in games, so it's not all bad.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I mean, I play a lot of games, but Metal Gear Solid 2 probably, number one for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know there's a lot of fans of that game series as well too, and the director's, work with the storytelling and everything is definitely up there. And it's awesome to have like that, inspiration and kind of driving force with video games, especially being in the game industry. I think that same feeling you described, I've gotten that with like a lot of games, a lot of things, like The Last of Us, but my nailing piece would be like World of Warcraft that I'd pun that feeling too. You see those things and you feel like that special feeling that can't really be described, but it gives you that drive to want to be a part of like that industry and do things as phenomenal as that, And I think everybody has that one thing that definitely has done that for them. No matter the game, no matter what people think about it, it's there for you, and that's what matters the most.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Now, you talked about your favorite video game of all time, but what's your favorite movie of all time?
Oh, okay. Interesting. So my movie tastes are all over the place. Right now, I'm enjoying like the Marvel movies that have come out recently, but I also enjoy a lot of comedies and action movies. I've actually been on a martial arts movie kick recently. I recently rewatched The Raid 2, Phenomenal movies. If you haven't seen it already, but yeah, similar to the games question, like choosing one movie is tough. It depends on my mood at the time. But I think if I had to choose like a meaningful movie for me, I'd have to like look back at my childhood and choose like The Goonies or Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. You know, these might seem a little out of left field, but like these were like the two VHS tapes that our family had. You know, two of the only ones that we had. And so me and my sister just rewatched these movies time and time again. And they were sort of fun, right? Like as a kid, you know, they were very adventurous, you know, and very funny. And I just thought they're really fun to watch and rewatch even now as I got older. So yeah.
Yeah. And movies can be just as impactful as video games too. You know, strong story, characters, things like that. So
Yeah.
they hold some great value there as well too.
Definitely.
Now, as far as comic books, if you read any, what are your favorites? Because I do know that you have a Marvel background, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah. I'm deep in the Shield bunker, if you can't tell.
Yep. There you go. I'm lacking on like Marvel knowledge,
Okay.
but I do have a good grasp because of my dad himself too. Loves comics, so
Nice.
I should be able to understand to some degree.
Yeah. You know, I grew up like reading random comics from time to time. It wasn't something that was like really a big part of my childhood. You know, I could never really afford to buy like continuous runs as a kid. But my main introduction to like that world was like through the TV shows, right? The animated series, X-Men, Batman. These were amazing at the time as a kid. And so I really love the X-Men, and so I started buying just random issues of, you know, the old X-Men, Uncanny X-Men comics, the Claremont, Jim Lee, John Byrne runs. And so I have a few of those, and then I didn't really start getting into like comics that heavily until later in my life, maybe around like 2006, 2007. And there was a series that came out around that time, absolute favorite, Planet Hulk and World War Hulk. Now, Hulk has always been like one of my favorite characters. You know, I just love that he's like this genius who has to like live with sort of a monster inside of him. But he's like super powerful. And in World War Hulk, you got to see the height of his power, right? Like he became one of the most powerful characters in the universe, battling like all the major heroes. It was just really cool. And so those two series, Planet Hulk, World War Hulk, I think were my favorites. Are my favorites.
Definitely. Do you still read comic books now as well too?
I do.
Go back.
Yeah, I do from time to time. You know, I like branching out to like independent comics and Image Comics. I'm really enjoying like Saga right now. I think that's a really good series. It just came back, so I'm super excited about that. But yeah, I mean, when I can, you know, right? There's so many games and so many things to watch and so many things to read. Comics,
lots of media.
You know, exactly.
Yep.
So I try to make time for comics, but not as much as I'd like.
Oh, that's definitely awesome. Thanks for sharing that with us. Especially with a hobby like that, you know. One thing that I didn't really realize how big comic books were until, you know, I was going to Comic-Con when I was younger. Didn't really realize. And then you also see all the independent artists and the amount of series out there, and it's definitely a large culture.
It is, definitely. Yeah. And it's enduring, right? Like it's stand the test of time. I mean, every year people always say comics are dying. No, they're better than ever. You know, they're thriving. And so, you know, and you can see it, you know, even being as inspiration for movies and TV shows, they're now finally getting the recognition, those stories, those characters, those worlds in the TV and movie worlds and game worlds, right?
Yeah, because how many times have you seen, you know, the start of a movie and it says based on a comic?
Exactly.
Comics are, you know, it's a bit more often than we realize, definitely.
Exactly. Definitely.
Now, if you could be one comic book character, who would it be? And I want to guess Hulk, but give you the chance.
Yeah. So, you know, even though I said Hulk is my favorite character, I think if I would like be a comic book character, I would probably say the Flash. You know, or somebody with like super speed. You know, you know when people usually ask like, "Oh, what is a superpower that you would most want?" It's like speed, hands down, super speed. The Flash can literally do anything. Like, can he fly? Yeah. Time travel? Of course. You know, like he
Right.
can do anything he wants, literally. So like,
Sounds like he needs a nerf.
he's like Omega. He might need a nerf. But you know, I think the biggest reason I want to be somebody with like super speed, like the Flash, is just I just want more time in the day to do things, right? And so as a Flash,
Right.
you
That's a big one.
literally can do so many different things in 24 hours, right? So
Yeah.
that's probably the biggest reason.
Now, I know this might be a hard choice, but some of the two biggest, I guess you would say universes or series is Marvel versus DC, right?
Mhm.
If you could only pick one, which one would you choose? So if you could only have one of them, like maybe
Yeah.
one in existence,
Right.
you had,
Right.
or maybe just picking your favorite at that.
Yeah. I mean, it might be kind of obvious with my background here, but
Yep.
you know, Marvel has always had a special place in my heart. I just think the characters in that world are a little bit more relatable. Um,
Right.
and you know, I've been fortunate enough and lucky enough to work with some of the people at Marvel on a couple of Marvel games, and so that was a really cool experience. And yeah, I've been just enjoying the characters and the movies and media, comic books from that world a little bit more. I like them, you know. I like DC too. You know, again, you know, Batman the animated series, special place in my heart. You know, some of the movies I really enjoyed, but Marvel would be my pick.
Okay, definitely. I think I'd have to agree with you on that one as well too.
Yeah. Hmm.
Now, I know you do live streaming charity work for
Oh
Extra
yeah.
Life every year.
Hmm.
Do you want to talk about a bit about that, and maybe if you do any others as well?
Sure. Yeah. You know, I primarily work with this charity called Extra Life, and their main mission is to raise money for Children's Miracle Network hospitals all around the world. And what they do is, you know, they encourage gamers to do a gaming marathon. You know, you could stream it, you don't have to stream it, whatever you want to do, but you know, you try to get people to like sponsor you as a gamer doing this marathon, and all that money goes to Children's Network hospitals. And so, you know, I've been doing that for like the past 10 years now. 10 years. And, you know, they have also local chapters called guilds that work with the local hospitals. And so I specifically work with the Los Angeles chapter, the Los Angeles Guild, and the Los Angeles Children's Hospital. And, you know, we help promote the charity. We help connect them with partners in LA, different gaming companies, different, you know, personalities to try to get them to, you know, raise money for Children's Hospital Los Angeles. And, you know, like you said, I also occasionally stream myself to raise money. So for me, it's just really rewarding to see gaming and the gaming industry being used for a force of good like this. And so that's one of the reasons I love doing it, and I've keep doing it.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, gaming can change lives in more than one way,
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
that's really awesome to know about those contributions.
Hmm. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's every question we had. Did you have
Oh.
anything that you wanted to say to our community before we close out the interview today?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'll keep it short and sweet. I just want to thank everybody for continuing to support the game. I know everybody that works on the game here, Korea, everywhere. You know, we are deeply grateful for the love and passion that you guys show. And most importantly, all the feedback that you guys provide. You know, we do our absolute best to listen to you guys and provide you with a game that you all enjoy playing. And we know that there are some things that we need to work on, but we do want to work together with you to improve this game and our service to you guys. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you, SavageAce, for taking the time to sit down with me and answer some of
Yeah,
these questions and, get to learn more about you and have the community get to know you as well. So that was really awesome. And I appreciate it a lot.
this was fun. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you for you Maplers too. Make sure you take care of yourselves, be healthy, drink water, have fun gaming, and, be nice to the new players. And just make sure you're taking care of yourselves and each other. And thank you guys for watching. And we'll see you in the next Henesys Hangout. Bye.
Take care. Bye.